Welcome to the Define Yourself podcast, the podcast that will inspire, motivate, and empower you to overcome your goals to achieve your goals for success in your personal and professional lives. And now, the founder of #Define Yourself, an inspirational and motivational author, writer, blogger, speaker, and podcaster, the one and only Chris Mitchell.
Hey, Define Yourselfer. Welcome into the #Define Yourself podcast with the Chris Mitchell. That's me. This is episode number 78, entitled Singer and Songwriter Recovers from Accident with Affirmation. And our guest is Michele Blood. Michele was a rock singer in Australia, managing her successful band as the lead singer and songwriter, and she survived a horrific near-fatal car accident. After many months, long operations, and total depression, Michele healed herself through her own discovery. And we're going to learn what that discovery is today. So my fellow Define Yourselfer, please join me in welcoming to the #Define Yourself podcast microphone, Michele Blood. Michele, welcome to the #Define Yourself podcast.
Thank you, Chris. It is wonderful to be here. I've been looking forward to us getting together and uplifting your beautiful audience.
I have an expression that I ask people, and that expression is, what is your it? And then it is a disability, challenge, obstacle, adversity, or limitation. So, Michele, what is your it?
My it was a near fatal car accident where I was in hospital for months and months and months, and how I went from that to creating this amazing method, not only to heal my body, but to also assist people from all over the world to have success and overcome any obstacles in their way, to push all those boundaries of doubting mind to I can do it.
Now, how did your accident happen?
Well, it's a pretty unique story. I was a rock singer in Australia. I've been on television since I was 5 singing. And I had a great band, and I was living what I considered my dream, even though it's really, really tough business. I was the singer, songwriter, manager of the band, but we ended up touring at one stage for 7 years straight, thousands of people every night all over the country, supported many famous bands from overseas. And then on the way home from a gig one night, the truck driver fell asleep at the wheel. And as the passenger, all the equipment went into me. So my body was completely crushed. And after many, many long operations, I was told if I could walk again, first of all, I didn't think I'd live. But then I was told if I could walk again, I'd have serious physical limitations. And I'm here to tell everyone that that is not the truth. I can do just about anything that I used to do. So doctors are wonderful. I thank God for those wonderful doctors that can create so much. Steel plates here, get bone out of there, that they can do all of that. But the thing is, what I've learned is you never, ever have to listen to the fact that that's it for you and you're going to have limitations, because it's just not the truth.
That's very true. I mean, the biggest thing I think that limits people is their own mind and belief that they cannot do something. And what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. If you'd like me to share how I became healed, I can definitely tell you my thoughts on that.
Well, we're going to get into that in a moment.
Okay.
So you were in hospital, and I love how you're from Australia, and the English people do this as well. We Americans say we were in the hospital, and that's grammatically not correct. In hospital. Did you go through physical rehabilitation? What was your baseline after the accident? Let's start there.
After the accident, no, I didn't do any rehabilitation, because I became completely healed, and the doctors were amazed. And I still have steel plates in my body, but because of the miraculous healing, journalists and different media from all over Australia started interviewing me and saying, how did this happen when we all thought we'd lost our Michele completely, And so after that, journalists, then promoters that were bringing people out like Dr. 𝗟𝗢𝗥𝗡, Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor, all of these big names I'd never heard of. And they asked me to go and sing and speak about my healing at these huge events. And that's sort of how what I created, which is Affirmations with Music, which we'll talk about in a little minute, became as famous as it is, and millions of people all over the world have downloaded my music. I've had hundreds of thousands of people come to my events from over 26 countries.
So how long were you in hospital?
4.5 months.
4.5 months. That's a pretty long time. And I bet you got sick of the hospital food. I know I would have.
Oh, I didn't eat a lot for a long time. They had to force feed me because I was just so, I mean, when I got out of that hospital, I think I weighed, what would you call 5 stone in this country? 14 pounds per stone.
No idea.
14
I'm barely
pounds
understanding metric and English.
I weighed about 80 pounds.
80 pounds. Okay. Okay, because
not much eating going on.
So what got you through the hospital, and what did lead to your recovery?
Well, this is the most amazing part. I was in not just physical agony, but I was also obviously thinking I can't be on stage dancing, doing crazy cartwheels, jumping on top of double speakers, and all the things I did to entertain the crowds with my band. I just couldn't imagine living not doing that, because I'd been doing it my entire life. As I said, I was on TV since I was just a little girl. And so I went into a deep depression, not just physical agony, but depression as well. So people started sending me these tapes and CDs and things about positive thinking. And I had never had to put myself into that sort of line before, because I'd always been positive. I was always very strong-willed, got those guys on time. We got to every gig on time. We were very, very disciplined, which you have to be. We never blew a gig. And having to save my voice at the same time, it's a very disciplined way of living. It's not anything like what people really think rock and roll's about. And so one thing that changed my life, which is just insane, there's a book called Think and Grow Rich by an American author called Napoleon Hill. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yes, I have. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I was nodding, thinking you were going to say more about the book, and I did not want to interrupt you. I'm being the polite American. So what about that book? Let me help you talk about that book.
I couldn't even lift up a book. So they put the audio book with Earl Nightingale, who's got this beautiful vibration voice. So I didn't mind listening to that, because being into tones and frequencies, and as a singer, I love the tonality of certain people's voices. And Earl Nightingale had that rich baritone voice as he spoke. So I'm listening to the chapters as he goes through it. And I went, oh, that's very interesting, but how is that going to help me? This is about male American entrepreneurs in the 20s and 30s. Why would I care about that? It's got nothing to do with me. And so it was the chapter where he's speaking about the little boy. Napoleon Hill's little boy was born deaf. And so Napoleon Hill would go into his room every night, and he would whisper where he was, he had ears, but he couldn't, some of the eardrum part was missing or something. And he would say, you can hear perfectly. He'd do all these affirmations. The little boy went on to have 30% hearing, went into a normal kids' school, and then went on to become this extremely successful entrepreneur in the hearing aid industry. Something about that story, I was like, you know what? I've used my willpower. I've used positive thinking without consciously being aware of it. I believe this is true. I'm going to heal my body. I am going to do these affirmations, and I'm going to heal my body. Now, the thing that Napoleon Hill said is it has to be emotionalized. Now, I couldn't emotionalize it and believe it, because the doubting mind, I'm in this hospital bed, not being able to move, told I'd probably never walk again if I did survive. So my doubting mind just kept throwing away the affirmation, because I wrote this affirmation: I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend, saying it over and over again. Didn't work. But then, would you like to know what happened then, Chris?
Yes, I would. Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of dead air. So yes.
So then what happened? I realized I'm a singer-songwriter. You cannot get a song out of your head, which is why advertising agencies spend billions a year on jingles, because the left brain is the lyrics or their product. The right brain is the melody and the music, and it goes straight into the subconscious mind. Your doubting mind does not have a moment to say, I don't believe this, what you're saying, because it's not true. And so it goes straight into your subconscious mind. And that has been proven now. There's so many studies that have been done in great hospitals and different places to prove that music does affect your mood. And affirmations, positive music, absolutely has changed. It lowers your blood pressure. There's so many different healing aspects of it, because the mind can do anything. It will believe. If you tell it something enough, it believes it. And that's why children know their ABCs, because they sing their ABCs. And so it goes straight into their subconscious mind. So I created this, and I had great healing in my body. And that is how people were asking me if I could write other affirmation songs. So I started writing affirmation songs on every topic you can imagine: magnet to money, persistence, success, healing, self-love. I did a whole album for children that Dr. 𝗙𝗢𝗥𝗡 asked me to do, called Self-Esteem Songs for Little Children, for kiddies, and they love it. And then I just got asked to tour all over the world. I stopped my band and I just started doing this, not just singing, because it's not about singing. People can just listen. They do not have to sing along or even like my music, because it goes straight into the subconscious mind, and you want all those hundreds of positive songs to go into your subconscious mind, because that's where it works. And so that is how my journey really began, and my true purpose in life.
So you use your abilities, your skills, your talents, your gifts of writing music and rock and roll, and you tweaked it to write positive affirmation music that helped you and have helped others. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, you are. It's really simple. KISS, keep it simple and spiritual.
Okay. I've heard the other one, keep it simple, stupid, but I like yours better. It's a more positive vibe. Now, when you did rock and roll music before the accident, was your music positive, or is it kind of neutral, or some of that stuff that says hate everyone, kill everyone, all that violent stuff you hear in the music today?
No, my music was more pop rock. It was pretty happy stuff. I mean, I did do a couple of my songs that became pretty big were sort of depressing, you know, your broken heart, like I'm mere dust without you, baby, I'm lost, going crazy, you know, or some of my ballads were very sad, you know, about romance breaking up or something like that.
Right. But those are life events. Yeah,
but the rest of the songs were pretty much, because it's the 80s and we loved to dance on stage, and so we were all pretty, it was a pretty up vibe band. Yeah.
Oh, good. I love the 80s music. I'm an 80s guy, and I lived through the 80s, love the 80s, would love to go back to the 80s. And music today, this could go into a whole new tangent. It's just so horrible. I don't even like today's music, or at least most of it. So love the 80s sound. So you started writing the songs and all, and it shifted your writing and your music from rock and roll to more positive affirmation. So what type of genre would you say your music is in now?
Well, they're all different. It's like when I used to write my pop music, they're all different types of songs. Some of them are slower, but they're all very meaningful and beautifully recorded. I've recorded them all so beautifully. But to start with, I was only recording them for myself and my band, for us, because I could see that this worked. So I thought, I'm going to write so many affirmation songs. I never had any intention of selling them. I was just going to get back with my band, and we'd keep doing what we were doing, because we were doing really well. But I just kept getting offered all this money to go and sing at these big events with these, you know, American and English transformational authors. So I ended up touring all over the world. I ended up writing books about it, how, you know, and then I ended up getting deeper and deeper into what I call the spiritual side of life, not religious, but spiritual, because as your frequency becomes more positive, it's actually a vibration. It's a real thing. Your frequency becomes faster, and just all of these opportunities and your creativity, the divine through you, your creativity just is on high. So I just kept creating more and more things and looking for more things and going deeper and deeper, practicing meditation. I traveled all over the world, looking for an enlightened teacher, actually, and ended up finding one. So I just kept going deeper and deeper. And so nowadays I teach many, many different methods. I just think affirmations with music to begin with and visualization audio programs are an excellent way to begin to oscillate in a more positive frequency when you're not well, particularly when you're, I've just, so many people have thousands of testimonials from people that have been in the hospital. I said then. Been in the hospital or have been in any way, shape or form in emotional turmoil, depression, or maybe it's a real physical illness, and it really turns their life around, and all they have to do is listen. So it's pretty cool.
Now, you mentioned a word that I have my own definition of frequency. I used to, like I mentioned before we began the actual interview, I used to work in radio. So frequency means what frequency is the radio station on? I'm sure your frequency has a different meaning for people like me who are listening, who not sure what you mean by frequency. Can you explain that?
Well, it's been proven now. There's been so many scientific tests done on people that meditate deeply, and what happens in the brain, different parts of the brain begin vibrating. The lights come on to different parts of the brain. Now, this is a frequency, and you can actually hear it. When you meditate a lot, you begin to start hearing the frequencies of what the Buddhists used to call the Om, because I can hear them all the time, different frequencies. And they've proven it's vibration, frequency and vibration. It's an oscillation of vibration because everything is energy. And so calling it a frequency is just, it's semantics, really. It's a vibration. It's energy.
It's within the individual.
Yeah, everyone's got a different vibration, a different energy. Everyone, the faster your vibration means you've got a higher frequency. And so that means you can see better. Your intuition is stronger. You can look and feel and have creative ideas, and you find that you're not in a mode of fear anymore. You're in a mode of creativity and love and compassion. And that's why having a higher frequency, everyone has seen this. You walk into a room and for some reason, because everyone feels energy, you're like, oh God, I don't want to be in this room. It just feels yucky. Probably people were in there arguing earlier. Everyone can feel it. Or you stand in front of someone and they may not look like a happy person, but there's something about them that you just love. You just feel they're sincere. And it's also when someone says, oh, I really love you, giving you all these compliments, and you just know it's not real. Everyone can feel when it's insincerity. Everyone can feel truth and honesty. And the faster your vibration or the higher your frequency, the more you can navigate this world without tumbling over tricky people.
So what exactly did you do to overcome your injuries and change your life?
Well, the music did it. I just kept listening to it. Then as I was healing faster and faster, I went into the recording studio and I started recording tons of new songs, and I kept my vibration high. I would also write the affirmations a lot. I wanted to use every tool I had, and you use more of your senses when you're handwriting something. And I also started doing visualization. I started visualizing myself walking perfectly. And because I was so thin from that, also I would put my face on, like I did it on 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗥𝗡, another Australian singer. I actually put my face on her body because that's how my body used to look when it wasn't thin, skin and bone. And so then I started getting my appetite back. I started exercising. And when the doctors started sending letters and saying, you need to come in and get your physiotherapy. And I said, I'm completely healed. And when I went back in, he said, that's just not possible. He was just like dumbfounded. And he said, what did you do? I told him. And he said, you were told you were not allowed to wear high shoes. And what happened, which is also fascinating, I'm 5 foot. I'm not going to not have high shoes on when I'm on stage. All the guys in my band were over 6 foot too. Anyway, so I started wearing high shoes, and it was really interesting. So what absolutely happened was there was in the middle of my back spine, there was a fracture, not too bad, but still there was a fracture that needed to be healed. And because I've been wearing high heels forever, my brother used to say, I swear you come out of the shower in high heels when I was a teenager. So what happened was that actually corrected my back, because that's how my body was used to walking in high shoes. So that actually helped heal it. So, I mean, everything that happened, everything that I did that I was told not to do assisted my healing.
And you're now using what you've done to help other people, right? You've written a book. What else have you done to help others?
Well, I did, oh gosh, so many things. I've done events all over the world, seminars, where I teach about all the different aspects of how you can become successful, healed, whatever it is, whatever the type of audience it is. And I've got over 80 books I've written, products, videos, hundreds of videos. I used to have a TV show. I introduced new authors to lots of people who were also had a healing or something. I've done lots of freebie stuff for children and for teenagers, especially teenagers that are foster kids that are just about to be kicked out of where they are. I've done free events for them so that they can learn how to put a more positive impact into their mind, because when they're young and they put this positive stuff into their consciousness and someone tells them that they can do anything and give them a plan, I would get them to write down plans of action. And I've got many online courses where I've got people from all walks of life, from all different businesses, to learn how to expand their consciousness, expand their success, their prosperity, and their happiness.
Now, you said you've written 80 books, and we really did not have time to go through all 80. So
no, not 80 books, 80 programs.
Oh, 80 programs.
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
Including books and you know, the Magic of Affirmation Power is my latest one. You know, Songs for Success album that I wrote with Bob Proctor. Create Miracles to Harmonize Your Life songs. This is another one I did with Bob Proctor, Become a Magnet to Money Through the Sea of Unlimited Consciousness. Just tons of products.
Well, let's talk about those two books you just held up there. Tell us a little bit about those two.
Well, the Magic of Affirmation Power is actually a reboot. This is the very, very first book I ever wrote about my healing and what had happened to me. And so many people were saying, that's such a great book. But, and I realized I was a brand new author back then, and so much more had happened. So I decided to rewrite it, keeping a lot of the new information that I'd learned and keeping the older stuff in there as well. It's a really simple way of learning. And it's also got links in it to have a free, my visualization programs and some free songs. So you don't, there's some links in there. This one, Become Magnet to Money Through the Sea of Unlimited Consciousness. Bob Proctor from The Secret, him and I have worked together all over the world for years. I ran his company in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for 3.5 years after I first met him and did events in Australia with him. And we did a lot of programs together, audio programs, and I would write the songs to go with the audio programs. And we did one called Become a Magnet to Money, which was based on my affirmation song, which has been downloaded nearly 3 million times globally now. So we decided to put that into a printed book, and I decided to make it in 2 books in one. So the first half is about success and prosperity and how to get away from how to make a decision, how to release old paradigms, what a paradigm is. And the second half of the book, Through the Sea of Unlimited Consciousness, is all about different levels of consciousness. So you can see where you're at and what you need to learn to go to the next level, to be in a brighter, happier, more magical state of mind. And it's really, really fascinating to look at where people think they see themselves at what level. So that's also all of my books I've also done into audio programs and online courses.
And where can people get these books?
They can get them all over. You go to Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com. My own website is magnet2success.com. All my programs are there. But I do have a special offer for all of your listeners, if I can share that.
Well, let's get to that in a moment, because I'd like to talk about those CDs first.
Okay.
So tell us about the CDs.
Well, I've got tons of CDs. There are musical albums of all the affirmation songs. And so the Songs for Success, I'll just go through the different things that you require for your mind to be fed these positive thoughts. So the song titles: Success, Greet the Day with Love in Your Heart; Persistence, Risk; I'm a magnet to money. Carry me away to success. Communication, synergy. You can do it. There's no limitations. And the Create Miracles that was just released last year, powerful affirmation songs to harmonize your life. So this one is more about healing and uplifting your spirit. So it's got divine love. Miracles are happening to me. I am healed. I am now perfect. I forgive. The joy of living. I am love. I am never lonely. Perfect relationships. Greeting the day with love in your heart. Putting yourself into the hands of God. And we found love. So each album, there's another album called Songs for Motivation, which is specifically just to motivate you to keep on keeping on, which entrepreneur and business owners love. Because when you're in business for yourself, you have to stay motivated. You can't say, oh, I don't feel like working today, because you're not going to be able to pay your mortgage if you do that.
Yeah. Like the day we're taping this, I had to take a break from celebrating my wife's birthday to speak with you. Not that you're an inconvenience, you're a wonderful person to speak to, but when you have your own business, you don't get days off.
You do not. And this is something that I love teaching people. I do a Beyond Success seminar sometimes, and this is for people that are new entrepreneurs. They've just started their own business, and before, for years, they had been working 9 to 5 or 8 to 10 or whatever it is that they do, you know, and it's very, very challenging for these people to get out of the, oh, thank God it's Friday, and oh, rubbish, it's Monday sort of mentality. And so, you know, you've got to give them a lot of different tools so that they can stay motivated. And even just something as simple as getting them to write a daily list the night before of what they've got to do the next day, how to really create goals. People don't know how to create a goal. They think they give themselves this huge goal and they've got to just break it down into little snap bits. Do this
Baby
first,
steps.
that first, baby steps. You know, writing, I teach people how to write a book in a very, very easy way that a couple of places, one of them's in the UK, actually teach my method. I don't get any royalties from it, but anyway.
Now, where can people get these CDs? Are they also available for download through popular downloading services?
You name it. Spotify, all the different places, iTunes, of course, Amazon, my own websites. We sell the MP3s, and some people are old fashioned and they like to actually receive a CD in the mail because it's got the little, you know, every CD has like a song booklet. So you can look at all the lyrics and, you know, so, but, you know, I think iTunes is a great way of going.
And many of the places you can download them from, you may be listening to this podcast on right now. So it's very easy to go type in Michelle's name and look for it after this episode. Not now, after, because right now, Michele has an offer she'd like to share with you.
We put together, my team and I put this beautiful package together, actually for Jack Canfield from Chicken Soup for the Soul is a friend of mine, name dropping, I know, but I did it for his people because he wanted me to put something together. So what it is over $300 worth of events, online courses, live Zoom events, to be part of my Success Club for a month for free, CDs, books, you name it. All of this over $300 worth for just $10. And all they have to do to get this is go to mydivinesuccess.com/, of course, define yourself. Not of course, define yourself, sorry. mydivinesuccess.com/define yourself.
For our listeners who are spelling challenged or visually impaired, can you spell out your domain for us, please?
Oh, yeah. This particular one is it's My Divine Success, mydivinesuccess.com /define yourself, DEFINEYOURSELF. And for my main product website, Magnet to Success, just Magnet to Success, MAGNETTOSUCCESS.com.
That's easy to remember because you sang it to us. We're going to remember that. Now, if you could go back in time with the knowledge you have today to the moment that you had that horrific accident, what advice would you give to yourself that could be beneficial to others who are in the same situation you were many years ago?
Okay, this looks like the end of life as you know it, the end of the world as you know it. However, everything happens for a divine reason. There are no mistakes in the cosmos. and you are a divine being. And so you are looked after in ways that you cannot even imagine right now. So please be as kind to yourself as you can be. Do your very, very best to not complain, and just say to yourself, I don't know if it's possible, but I know it's not impossible for me to get over this obstacle, to become healed, whatever it is. So if it's not impossible, I've got to keep saying to myself, it is possible, and get yourself into that vibration and love yourself. Do whatever you can to be good to you and to the loved ones and the caregivers. If you've got caregivers in the hospital or at home, do your best to be patient with them as well, because they're going through a lot, because they love you.
Very, very excellent words and excellent way to close our time today. I would like to thank you so very much for being a guest on our podcast. I encourage our listener, because normally when people listen to a podcast, it's only one person listening. So we try to talk to them directly. For our listener to reach out to you, connect with you. And when you do connect with Michele, tell her you heard her on the hashtag Define Yourself podcast, and tell her she did an excellent job, because you did a super job. And we're so much appreciative for your time today.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Listen, if Michele can heal with affirmations and help others through her music, I know that you can achieve anything you desire in life despite your disability. So if you are ready to start overcoming your goals, those will be your challenges, your obstacles, your adversities, your limitations, and or setbacks, and start achieving your goals for success in your professional, academic, and or personal lives, the first thing you need to do is get my free ebook, The 10 Steps to Define Yourself, How to Succeed in Life Despite Any Disability. In this free ebook, I lay out the 10 steps you need to take to overcome your disabilities and succeed in all aspects of your life. To get your free copy of the 10 Steps to Define Yourself, How to Succeed in Life Despite Any Disability, point your browser to 10stepstodefineyourself.com. That's the number 10, stepstodefineyourself.com. Do it now. Your future self will thank you.
You can encourage others to become Define Yourselfers like yourself and empower them to succeed in life. Share the hashtag Define Yourself podcast with your professional and personal contacts today. I am your announcer, Carrie-Ann Christensen, reminding you that the hashtag Define Yourself podcast with Chris Mitchell is a production of hashtag Define Yourself, empowering you to succeed